crushing loss for Raptor fans with just one game needed to win it all. The NBA championship is so close, yet it feels so far away. It came down to 1 point. The Raptors were playing in front of a hometown crowd, and they were ready for this team to win it all. But instead, the boys have packed their bags and are now back in Oakland. Greg Ross joins us live from outside Scotiabank Arena. Greg, this city was ready to celebrate, but we have to wait for at least one more game.
Yeah, definitely a disappointing game 5 for Raptors fans. Disappointing in the sense that the Raptors just didn't get off to a great start in the game. Disappointing in the sense that they were able to battle back. They had a great fourth quarter where they were able to take a 6-point lead but couldn't hang on to it. And disappointing in the fact that they were close in the end. They were only down by 1, as you mentioned, and they had the ball in their hands with 15 seconds to go, and they just couldn't close it out. So yes, fans leave Jurassic Park last night with no celebration. But the good news is, if you're a Raptors fan, they still have 2 more chances to close out this series.
Our confidence taking a bit of a hit with that loss last night, but we've seen this team bounce back, and that has a lot to do with our superstar, Kawhi.
Yeah, absolutely. Fans are taking it hard, but he seems to have that ability to just shrug off those tough losses. He doesn't get too caught up in the excitement of wins either, and that calm demeanor seems to be rubbing off on the rest of his teammates as well. They are all buying into this business-first approach to these finals.
5 to shoot.
Through the highs.
Leonard's going to try another one. Puts it in! Kawhi Leonard!
And the lows.
Lowry for the win. Won't go! And there'll be a game 6 in Oakland.
Kawhi Leonard seems to always have the same stoic reaction and the same calm demeanor, which was on full display in last night's post-game press conference. Leonard shrugged off the loss and instantly set his sights on Game 6.
You know, it's not going to be easy. Stay confident. We know we could win.
He's implacable. He's unflappable.
Sean Fitzgerald is a Raptors reporter for The Athletic. He says Leonard's emotionless personality may be rubbing off on his teammates as well.
Certainly when you have a leader who behaves like that, you can take your cues. I mean, that happens in dressing rooms. You take your cues from the dressing room leadership group.
Raptors head coach Nick Nurse says Leonard is equally as quiet in the locker room, but says when he does speak, his teammates listen.
Here's Iguodala lining it up.
Like after the Raptors lost Game 2 against the Warriors at home and prepared to head out on the road for Games 3 and 4.
You know, I was like, all we got to do is go get one. You know, that's maybe not as insurmountable a challenge to go out there and get one. And Kawhi said, expletive that. Let's go get them both.
He's got 18 tonight.
Which the Raptors did.
Leonard lets it rip.
It's an intangible no Raptors team has ever had before.
For a long time, they had a great regular season record, but when the game started meaning something upstairs didn't quite click.
Leonard drives, pulls up, banks it home.
And maybe the best way to describe what's changed for this team
Leonard to the rim, pull-up jumper, got it!
is by using an age-old sports cliche.
One game at a time is one of the greatest cliches in all of sports. The difference is that, do those teams and do those players follow that cliche? Here, it seems there's evidence that they do.
And the one game the Raptors now focused on is Game 6. They've already made their way to Oakland. And let's not forget the fact that the Raptors did win both Games 3 and 4 on the road. In fact, they've won 3 games in Oakland this season, if you'll consider the one game they did win in the regular season as well. No other team has done that in the last 5 years. And the Raptors will look to add to that with a 4th straight victory in Game 6. And if they can pull it off, we will get that celebration here in Toronto that the fans were hoping for, Dwight, after Game 5.
Well, just a little delay. Thank you for that, Greg.
Kevin Durant down, grabbing his right ankle area.
It's an Achilles injury. I don't believe there's anybody to blame, but I understand this world, and if you have to, you can blame me.
The Warriors president breaks down after Kevin Durant goes down in Game 5. Now accusations are flying from the decision to let him play in the first place to the reaction from Raptors fans. We'll look at the return and fall of KD at 6:30. Plus, we take a look at a different Raptors team making a playoff push.
Raptors crowd really into it, and Clay with a big-time 3.
We They are the professional video game players representing Toronto in the NBA 2K League. And still ahead, we talked to the team about what it's like living in the same house and how the real Raptors' success is rubbing off on them.
The energy is amazing here, like honestly, like and we can translate that to like 2K. And, you know, I think all the time, like, man, let's get to these finals. Let's win this last tournament to take it, which is automatic bid for playoffs. Like, you know, like I feel that like the energy here, like, you know, and out here at Toronto, they represent the city. You know, they support everybody out here. Like, we're the Raptors, you know, we just the 2K versions.
Some residents of a Scarborough neighborhood are looking for answers tonight. They're concerned about plans to build an Indigenous healing lodge in their community where women who have been in trouble with the law can live. Magda Garba-Selassie joins us from the area near Kingston and Danforth. Magda, those actually behind the lodge say this kind of space is really needed.
Yeah, it's true. And this here, right here is where they're hoping to build this lodge. Now, you can see just behind me is where there are several houses down that way. You've got an apartment building to the side of me, and this is a busy area. This is Kingston Road right here, and there are businesses across the way there. Now, those behind this lodge say that they could house anywhere from 24 women at a time when it is built, and that these women would have access to programs that would address trauma, behaviors, and life skills. And Patty Pettigrew is with the Thunder Women Healing Society. She says she wants to give these women a voice.
I think with the recent statistics that have come out on with regards to the murdered and missing women's inquiry, the over-incarceration of Indigenous women, the massive amounts of youth suicides amongst Indigenous children, the over-representation in the foster care system, all of those things contribute to the need for healing in our community.
Now, there may be some people who heard of the concept of a healing lodge for the first time last year when one of the convicted killers of Tory Stafford was transferred to one temporarily. But this is a different situation in which this is for women who are transitioning out of the prison system or who may face charges but have not been convicted of anything as of yet. Still, the people who live in this area, at least some of them say they have their concerns. One of the facts is that they weren't informed of this lodge previously, that they just recently found out about this, and they shared other concerns with us as well.
What exactly is this healing lodge, and what kind of people they will be bringing in, and exactly what's going to be happen. But it's such a short notice. I'm just upset that I'm not even told this is coming up until very end of this project. Yeah.
This is not the right spot here. They have so many places they can build for this. In 60-story building in this place, I don't think will go at all. The lot is way too small. And plus, there are kids here, they are school, they are older people. And we've been having trouble before with tried prostitution. Now we cut down that, and this is going to end up in here. I don't think this is going to be okay.
Now, they will have their say at a community meeting that is planned for tomorrow. Those behind the lodge will be there, as well as the councillor for the area. The proposed plan for this lodge is to start construction as early as October. But of course, the plans for this have to go before a city committee, and that's supposed to take place later this month. Dwight.
Thank you, Magda.
This space is everything.
This is like heaven.
It's a new home for young people from marginalized communities in the arts. I'm Lorenda Redikoff at the Remix Project. It's a charity that's already been responsible for multiple music success stories. I'll tell you about their dreams going forward. That story coming up.
Sunshine out there, Colin. I'm still feeling a little down today.
Yeah, I'm wearing blue because I'm feeling a little blue.
Something about basketball game last night. I don't know.
Yeah, something.
Let's just talk about the weather.
Let's do it. We've got to make the turn, though. I've got to say, we've all got to get it, put it behind us, Raptors in 6. All right, our current temperatures, this is what we're looking at now. 21 degrees, 21 in Markham, Mississauga, Oshawa, St. Catharines, 22. The winds today have been a little bit breezy. These are just the sustained winds. So the gusts have been a little bit stronger than this. They've been coming from the northwest, and because of that, if you were in the shade, it maybe felt a little bit cool. But boy, if you were in the sunshine, and you still could be, just a lovely evening out there. A few clouds building in towards the afternoon hours. We're going to actually get into kind of a clearing trend, though, through the overnight tonight. You can see some spotty showers well to the north of us, staying out of our skies, that's for sure. Things will begin to change, though, but it'll be late day tomorrow, in fact. So overnight tonight with the clearer conditions. Tomorrow starting off with sunshine, then we'll see some clouds again into the afternoon hours. Could have some breaks in that, and it really won't be till well overnight Wednesday into Thursday. So Wednesday is a dry day in towards Thursday morning when we start to pick up some precipitation again. And I'll kind of talk about that because we're going to have a few days in a row where we're going to have that chance of seeing some showers kind of here and there, and a lot of them on Thursday. Overnight tonight, 10 degrees with those clear skies, 23, mostly sunny tomorrow. It is going to be a lovely day to enjoy and to get ourselves psyched up for Thursday, Dwight.
I'm psyched up. Ready to go. Thank you, Colette.
You're welcome.
A landmark Toronto hotel that has played host to royals and celebrities is marking a big birthday tonight.
From serving as a war hospital during the war, where the lobby was turned into an actual hospital and triage area, to amazing events that happen throughout the building, heads of state, diplomats. I mean, this is, if it happens in Toronto, it's happening at Fairmont Royal York.
We have Tori on hand to help cut the ribbon as the Fairmont Royal York celebrated its 90th birthday. The hotel has undergone some big changes recently. Earlier today, Linda Ward got a tour of the new look.
With the usual pomp and extravagance that we've come to expect, the Grand Old Hotel celebrating its 90th anniversary today, and doing that, they had a great big party and the unveiling of the Grand Lobby, a 4-year, $100 million renovation. And Jacqueline Tyler, manager of marketing and communications here at the Fairmont Royal York Hotel, you're going to take us on a little bit of a tour?
Yes. Viewers may recall the former staircase and lobby clock experience that we had, which was here most recently. That clock was installed in 2002, and the original clock was installed in 1929, which is now found on the seafloor. So bringing back the heritage and the spirit of time and travel, our designers, Rockwell Group, created this beautiful one-of-a-kind installation here, which was created by the same manufacturer as our last clock as well. So we debuted it today for the first time to the community and to the world, and we couldn't be more honored to continue our legacy of meeting at the clock, a phrase synonymous with this property.
So a two-sided clock here now in the lobby, and on the other side of the clock, this is my favorite part.
Yes, Linda, welcome to Clockwork Champagne and Cocktails, which is on the other side of the two-faced famous iconic meeting space.
This is a new part of the lobby experience here. So much history has happened in this lobby. Can you give us an example of some of the iconic moments or people that have stayed here over the last 90 years?
Yes, I can only imagine how many memories have been here, but from 1929, when guests first exited, the train and entered Union Station and crossed the street, that was an iconic moment where our designers wanted to bring that feel of the train heritage and the reminiscent of the era of travel and the romance of the railway. When, we've also welcomed dignitaries of all kinds, the royal family. Bill Clinton's 60th, birthday was held in our convention floors. We've had many worldly events and conventions and meeting spaces, and today was one of them for the community, our 90th anniversary.
So part of keeping a historic property like this going is making sure that people still want to stay in these old hotels. How do you appeal to the public when there are all these modern hotel options available?
At every moment when the guest first walks in, we ensure that they have a heritage feeling about who and what we are, the heart of this hotel. It'll never be forgotten. However, with the luxury expectations that guests have today when they're traveling, quick and efficient arrival experience that our guests are servicing them upon every need, we bridged it with amazing design and technology, reminiscent of yesterday, but still ensuring that we're accommodating every need that they expect from a luxury hotel.
Celebrating both the new and the old today. As part of that, the hotel giving out these self-guided history tours for anyone who stays here. They're also giving out 90 free nights at the hotel to Heritage Toronto to give out to community groups to help them raise money to preserve the city's history. Linda Ward, CBC News, Toronto.
A charity that supports young people getting a start in the music industry now has a new home. The Remix Project has some famous names among its graduates, like singer Jessie Reyes. Now, with a new expanded space, the hope is that it will be able to do even more. Lorenda Redekop has the story.
The DJ for the launch is a graduate of the Remix Project. Formerly homeless, Matthew Romeo has since DJ'd for Drake and Wyclef.
I ain't doing this for nothing.
He's just one of the project's success stories over the last 20 years.
It's incredible. I've had opportunities to travel the world, and I get stopped in places, and people are like, oh, the Remix Project. Yeah, I love what y'all do. Oh, this person came out of there. That person came out of there.
Now it has a sleek new permanent home along the waterfront, including a modern studio and recording space.
This is the same spot where the government nightclub used to be. It brought in lots of different music acts over the years. And today, it was all three levels of government supporting this.
All the way down the ribbon, one.
Major music labels are among the companies giving their support. It's clear why it makes sense for them.
Inevitably, this question comes up. Some version of, okay, so what exactly is happening in Toronto? Like, why is it that so many incredible artists are coming from your town? If I were to pick a specific catalyst to what's happening and what's been coming out of here, well, it would be the work of the Remix Project.
18-year-old rapper Velo graduated from the project last year. He hopes it'll lead to bigger things.
I dropped out of high school in the 10th grade. I couldn't get no job, so there's only a couple other ways to get money, and I didn't want to go that route, look for my moms and whatnot. I got nieces and nephews that look up to me.
Now he has a manager and sees a future in music.
You know nothing, then you feel like you're on path to know everything and do everything you ever dreamed of doing.
He feels the new and bigger space will make achieving those dreams even more possible for future students. Lorenda Redekop, CBC News, Toronto.
No matter what the good guys do, the bad guys will figure out some way to get past it, and the cat and mouse game will continue.
Canada's prisons have a problem. Drones are being used to smuggle in contraband like drugs. How corrections officials are trying to stay one step ahead of the criminals, coming up after the break.
The weather update is brought to you by Train Extreme Conditions Testing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
Many of us use them and toss them out without much thought. Single-use plastics like cutlery and takeout containers could soon be banned in Canada. Alicia Son has more now on why that would be an important step for protecting wildlife right here in the GTA.
We saw this swan sitting on her nest. Literally, I just stopped in my tracks because the nest is made primarily of garbage.
Swans make nests from their surroundings, ideally with sticks and plant life, not...
There are coffee cups, there are a lot of plastic bottles, plastic bits of styrofoam, and straws. Lots of straws.
It's a jarring example of the effect of single-use plastic on our environment and subject of a proposed nationwide ban.
We are moving forward on banning toxic single-use plastics by 2021.
The full list of banned plastics has yet to be drawn up, but we know the food industry has a big plastic footprint. Everything from shopping bags to takeout containers, plastic cutlery, straws, plastic wrap, and polystyrene in grocery stores are all single use. According to a study out from Ripley's Aquarium, every year about 22 million pounds of plastic pollution ends up in our Great Lakes. And you don't have to look that closely to see it. You can see all of the plastic shards in the sand here. There's a straw, and then a plastic spoon over here too.
Anything specifically that you would just love to see gotten rid of?
These would be good.
Yeah.
You know, these kinds of dessert lids from fast food places are really a threat to certain types of wildlife, certainly especially skunks, but a lot of other types of wildlife get caught in them.
On a daily basis, the Toronto Wildlife Centre sees firsthand the effect our choices have on the animals we share an environment with, including this hawk that came in today with suspected nicotine poisoning from cigarette butts caught in its feathers.
The federal government's ban on single-use plastics, that's got to be good news for you.
I think it's fantastic. I was so happy to hear that. We're messy as a species. We don't really take responsibility or full responsibility for our garbage, and it isn't fair that wild animals get impacted by that.
Alicia Son, CBC News, Toronto.
A very special aircraft making a stop in Toronto. The Orbis Flying Eye Hospital zips around the world training professionals and advocating for eye care.
This room is actually the room, this is my office. So basically this is the room where I work in.
Countries around the world invite the plane to train local eye care staff. The aircraft is outfitted with a state-of-the-art operating room, a classroom and recovery room. The team is spending a week in the country giving demonstrations to raise awareness and funds for their project.
It's so critical to share these skills, these technologies, because so many people are needlessly suffering from avoidable blindness.
The team has worked in 18 countries so far around the world. Canada's federal prisons are facing a growing threat from above, drones being used to smuggle contraband over high walls and fences. Now, Ottawa is spending millions on technology to spot the drones, but experts say detection is only half the battle. David Thurton explains.
Peter Jones builds portable gear that identifies drones.
There, we just detected a drone, and it's really close by. Look at the little circle in the center.
Corrections Canada hopes to use similar technology to stop drones from sneaking contraband into prisons. Its pilot project will start next year and finish by 2023.
So there's been instances where we've actually recovered the device where for some reason it failed.
Since 2015, drone sightings have increased at penitentiaries. The unmanned aerial vehicles drop cell phones, drugs, and other illicit substances.
No matter what the good guys do, the bad guys will figure out some way to get past it, and the cat and mouse game will continue.
The concern is that more lethal substances could be on the way. Last year, a drone armed with explosives detonated at a rally Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro attended. In fact, the union says the future threat is weaponized drones.
There's also the potential these drones, the technology is increasing, that payloads can be even greater and weapons could be introduced inside of institutions.
Corrections Canada is confident that it will be able to detect the presence of drones in and near its facilities. But stopping the drones before they drop off their contraband, well, that raises safety concerns.
I'm not sure where the drone's going to fall, and that's a concern to me. It's okay if to the sense if it falls on our grounds, but if it falls outside and hurts somebody, it's not something we want to get into.
For now, the focus is detection, but knowing that determined people will try to find a way around that, Corrections Canada's strategy will need to keep evolving in order to keep up. David Thurton, CBC News, Ottawa.
90% of Canadians report they have fallen for fake news online, according to a new international survey. More than 25,000 internet users participated. The survey defined fake news as reporting based on wholly or partly false information. The Canadian rate is higher than the global average of 86%. Many respondents listed Facebook as the most common source of misleading reports. Online platforms show higher numbers than traditional media such as TV and print. There were also more Canadians saying they distrust social media companies than those who are worried about cyber criminals.
Growing up in Cameroon, Africa, and we kind of, playing soccer, and we really never expected it. But Dad had a bigger dream than all of us, really. Because once I started picking up on basketball, his bigger dream was to have one of his kids playing in the NBA.
What's it like to have your sibling one win away from being an NBA champion? We talked to Pascal Siakam's brother coming up. While Toronto Raptors fans recover from last night's loss against the Warriors, Golden State's Kevin Durant is getting an MRI done today on his leg. Durant got hurt during Game 5 of the NBA Finals, his first game back after a long injury, and that has people asking, was he pressured to return before he was ready? Chris Glover has the story.
That is the story of the night. Kevin Durant not only in the building, but will be in uniform.
The Golden State Warrior entered Game 5 of the NBA Finals looking confident.
If they were not facing elimination, he probably would not be coming back.
Sidelined with a calf injury since early May, Kevin Durant came back with a vengeance last night. But just into the second quarter, he went down. Some fans cheered for the injury. Toronto Raptor Kyle Lowry and his teammates waved for them to stop.
I don't think the fans knew the significance of the injury.
Fighting back tears, the Warriors GM broke the news.
It's an Achilles injury. I don't know the extent of it.
The decision to clear Durant was collaborative, the GM says. Even still, he accepts the heat.
If you have to, you can blame me. I run our basketball operations department. And
many analysts railed on the pressure to get Durant on the court.
If he did this because the Warriors helped create a climate of you got to do it and pressure him, that is a terrible mistake.
Some blaming not just the Warriors, but basketball culture.
Since they were down 3-1, he was forced to return based on all of the chatter that we knew was going to take place. He's soft. He really didn't want it. He wasn't committed to the team.
The Warriors GM says if you're looking for someone to blame, blame him. Who do you think is to blame, though?
That's a great question. I think he's going to fall in that sort of.
Canadian basketball analyst Dwayne Watson says it could boil down to bad luck.
Achilles injuries generally are kind of really fluky. You can have them. I know guys who walked upstairs who got an Achilles injury, so you can't necessarily say there's too much wear and tear or predict them, but it's kind of one of those devastating ones that puts you for a long time.
Regardless of blame, it seems clear this Warrior is out of battle for a while. Chris Glover, CBC News, Toronto.
Fan reaction to Durant's injury last night has become the focus of a lot of controversy today and on last night's broadcast, too.
I don't like to hear the fans cheering.
I'm surprised by that, and the players are telling him not to be doing that.
The Raptors themselves were showing their support for Durant and making it clear they wanted Toronto fans to do the same. What the broadcast didn't show, this reaction captured on social media as KD was helped to the dressing room. Toronto fans gave the Warriors superstar a standing ovation, chanting KD to voice their support for one of the NBA's greatest players ever. Mayor John Tory came to the defense of Toronto fans when asked about the incident today.
It was in the arena, and it happened right at the end of a play, and people were cheering at the end of the play, but very quickly after that, he got a very warm round of applause as he was taken off to the dressing room, as he should. He's a superstar, and nobody wants to see him hurt. The vast majority of people reacted in the kind of way you'd expect for any good sports fans and for any Torontonians, and gave him a very warm round of applause as he went off to the dressing room. So, again, I think we have to be careful not to overblow these things and try to then generalize about what Toronto sports fans are about. Toronto sports fans are good fans, they're considerate fans, and they understand a superstar when they see one, and I think that's the kind of applause he got as he left the arena.
The Raps face the Warriors once again in the Oracle Arena in Oakland on Thursday for Game 6. Raptors forward Pascal Siakam has had some big moments during this playoff run. While he's probably disappointed after last night's loss, he has some family in town to lean on. Pascal's oldest brother, Boris Siakam, flew in from Kentucky to see Spicy P on the court. I met with Boris today to talk about his little brother and how he's fulfilling their late father's dream.
I want to start by saying it's a blessing. We never really imagined that we're going to be here. You know, growing up in Cameroon, Africa, and we kind of, playing soccer, and we really never expected it. But Dad had a bigger dream than all of us, really. Because once I started picking up on basketball, his bigger dream was to have one of his kids playing in the NBA. So I kind of wish that he was here for this moment.
Enjoying it with you.
Just be here and see, everything that he put effort and sacrifice, into is paying off. People back then told him how, this was not going to happen.
Your son in the NBA, you're in Cameroon. What do you think? You're not going to put a kid in the NBA.
Yeah, nobody thought it was going to be possible, and definitely a blessing, and we all feel blessed to be here.
They've called Pascal a hero during these playoffs. How do you think he's been playing in this series?
Man, he's been playing amazing.
All that dunking you did on him when he was little is paying off, is it? Come on now.
I mean, we really didn't do a lot of dunking on him. Obviously we left a little bit earlier. Yeah. And we were just surprised at one point that he picked up on basketball just like all of us. And he was amazing just to see how tall he got. He's the baby. Growing up, picking up, Pascal, in all of his arms, and now he's taller than everybody and playing at this level.
We know how Toronto feels about him and how Canada feels about him. But what's it like hearing from folks back in Cameroon?
Oh man, he has been amazing. I just get messages every day. I can't even show him, show you my phone right now. It's so many. I can't even keep up with them. But we do appreciate the whole, the support that we get from people from Cameroon. It means a lot. We're very proudful people, and then we, also grateful to be able to do, be at this stage and then represent not just Cameroon but the whole continent, because it's also the kid from Africa. Yeah. And Pascal always wanted to put his name out there and be able to show all the kids in Africa that, this is possible.
Is there something about Spicy P you can tell us that people don't know? Does he have any word idiosyncrasies? Is there something you can, just give us a little juice on Spicy P? Come on now.
Pascal is just a normal kid, just like all of us. He enjoys.
He seems like really fun-loving.
It is, and that's just the way my dad was, and that's just the way we all raised, and just being together. Togetherness with my dad was a big thing. No matter what happens, sometimes it's not all about what you have; it's also what you put into people. Yeah. And my dad never really left anything, but he left a lot of stuff in us. They call this game spicy, but he just comes with a lot of grace to it, and Pascal is just enjoying it. So,
let's finish with the big question. You wanted the win last night. The whole city, the whole country wanted this win last night. It didn't happen. We lost by 1 point. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen?
I believe
in Oakland.
I do believe they're going to come out stronger and harder. And I know for a fact that we're going to be champ. I have no doubt. These guys deserve it. The whole city deserves it. And I feel like it's going to happen.
I like how you say that. We're going to be champs.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're all owning this together,
man. We deserve it. Yeah, go and take it.
Thanks for sharing your brother with us.
Yes, sir.
I like the PS here.
Oh, yeah,
we got some Spicy P gear coming.
We got some Spicy P, gear coming.
When it comes, I'm gonna have to go buy the championship version.
Oh yeah. Okay. It will definitely be a championship, version of it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Appreciate
it, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your little bro.
I appreciate it. We appreciate all the support.
One of the world's biggest stars is getting the boot from Scotiabank Arena. Oprah's Friday speaking engagement has been canceled just in case they need to prep for a Raptors Game 7 on Sunday. Now, while there will be no Oprah in TO, the Raps have attracted plenty of other celebs to our city. Of course, Drake was courtside last night. You can see him there singing our national anthem. The great one, Wayne Gretzky, made an appearance. French football coach now, former star Thierry Henry, was in the crowd. And there's our own Eugene Levy, and of course, billionaire businessman Richard Branson. He was showing a lot of love for our Raptors, even though he admitted to not knowing much about basketball.
My next door neighbor was teaching me the rules as we went along, and I must have been like the only person in the audience who had no idea what the rules were. I mean, it was, I suspect, the most energetic evening of sport that I've ever been to. I mean, I'm from the music world, and we had bands like the Rolling Stones, and that was really energetic. But last night maybe matched even that.
Branson was in town to launch his new cruise ship line, Virgin Voyages. At the announcement, he introduced Captain Wendy Williams. She will become the first Canadian woman to captain a major cruise ship. This is part of a plan to bridge the gender gap in the maritime industry.
Gender equity means that we need to teach the world that women can do anything. And the maritime industry, yes, it's male-dominated, but why should it be? We need to grow in that regard.
The adult-only cruises launch in 2020. They will sail from Miami to the Caribbean. The style of the cruise caters to a younger crowd with a boutique hotel look. Some of the Rockstar suites will include guitars and record players, as well as balconies, outdoor showers, and hot tubs. Guests can do yoga, boxing classes on deck, even get a tattoo. The largest school board in Canada is meeting this evening to talk about how to deal with a budget shortfall of tens of millions of dollars. The Toronto District School Board said it may be forced to cut some jobs in response to provincial cuts to education spending. With more on what's happening at tonight's meeting, let's bring in Natalie Nanowski. And Natalie, what are they hoping to accomplish tonight?
Well, Dwight, they're hoping to figure out what can stay and what can go. We're told that the board is really struggling to figure out if it can cut certain jobs or positions or programs without having a big effect on students. Now, the board is dealing with a $67 million budget shortfall. Now, it says that $25 million is an annual shortfall that it brought on to itself, and it says the remaining $42 million is due to losing a grant from the Ministry of Education. Now, a while ago, the board put forward a proposal. It put forward a list of things that it could possibly cut in order to balance its budget. It was looking at things like cutting busing for French immersion students, or reorganizing the Central Administration Department, or even cutting cultural language programs on the weekend. Now, Chair Robin Pilkey says that they have been trying to see really what can go and what can stay, and it's been a really stressful experience.
It's been very stressful. I have to say, we started this process in January, well before the actual government had provided the information on what our cuts would be. We had a lot of new trustees this year, and we needed to help make sure that a lot of our new people understood kind of how the process was going to work and what the numbers meant. It's a very big system. It's very complicated. There's a lot of moving parts. We have a lot of buildings. We have a lot of collective agreements, and they affect everything a lot.
So tonight, it's after all of that back and forth, seeing what can go and what can stay. They're going to make some final decisions, possibly bringing back, for instance, busing for French immersion students. And Pilkey says one of the ways it's going to do that is by reorganizing its entire bus system, maybe even making certain schools start earlier in order to do that, Dwight.
Well, now, Natalie, the board is only discussing these issues tonight, so when will final decisions actually be made?
So the final decision is going to hopefully happen next Wednesday. That's when they're going to vote on everything. So support staff, teachers, parents should know whether anyone's going to be losing their job or any programs are going to be cut, hopefully by then. Now, Premier Doug Ford maintains that these cutting education spending has been necessary, and he says that the TDSB's budget shortfall is not, in fact, due to a cut in education spending, that it is in fact due to the TDSB's mismanagement of funds over so many years. Dwight.
Thank you, Natalie. A shot of your beautiful skyline right there. After the break, Colette will have the long-range forecast for us. Stay with us. We will be right back. All right, let's get to Colette Kennedy now. Now, Colette, I'm looking at your map there, and that doesn't look like Toronto.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm checking out what our guys are going to have to deal with.
Oh,
yeah.
got it.
Well, when they're getting off the plane, you know, they're going to have to climatize, all of them. We had that, cool day yesterday, wet day. Completely different story in terms of what they're experiencing right now in Northern California. This is the current temperature, 36 degrees in Oakland and in San Francisco. Yesterday, they hit essentially 38 degrees. It was 100 degrees Fahrenheit. They have never, at San Francisco Airport, never in June, July, or August hit 100, and they did yesterday, and today they're dealing with the same heat. They're not even at the height of what they're going to get to, because keep in mind, they're 3 hours behind where we sit. So excessive heat advisories and warnings are in place out there, and they're going to have a few days of that. We don't quite have that. We've just got seasonal temperatures back here at home, and a nice day. Winds out of the northwest were a little cool if you were in the shade, but it really was very, very pleasant. 21 degrees is what we have. In fact, just historically, this isn't a terribly hot day. I think it's 1949 that our record comes from. It was 33.1 degrees. But it's never been broken. We've never seen that since. So 1949, that's a long-standing record for daytime heating. But we've got that 21, and what happens through the overnight hours is not much, and that's a good thing. We're going to see clear skies for the most part. The temperatures falling off. They should just hold into double digits. And then tomorrow morning, we start off with sunshine, really nice even into the afternoon, starting to see some increasing cloudiness, then probably some breaks in it. It really looks like it's going to hold off until overnight Wednesday into Thursday morning before the next system arrives. I know that's also the day of Game 6. So yes, into the evening hours, quite likely we will have some wet conditions kind of coming through, should be fairly light, but coming through in waves off and on through the day and into the evening on Thursday. Tonight, though, there you go with your overnight lows. A look at tomorrow afternoon. Really nice day, too, because the winds are turning around towards the south, so that's going to feel pretty good as well. But into Thursday, a cooler day, 17 degrees, the best we can do. And even as you look ahead towards the weekend, not a rain out, not full-on rain every day. It's just there's a chance every single day that we could have some precipitation, mostly coming early in the day.
Thank you, Colette.
You're welcome, Dwight.
As we head to break, here's a look at where the markets close today. Stay with us. We will be right back. Last night's Raptors game is a record breaker. It was the most watched program in Canada so far in 2019, reaching 13.4 million Canadians, easily making it the most watched NBA game ever in this country. And it was clearly not just fans in Toronto cheering on the Raptors. This was the scene in Regina yesterday. This is Mosaic Stadium, home turf for the Rough Riders, but the usual sea of green was replaced with Raptor fans for Game 5. Look at that. How often do you see sports fans in Montreal getting excited for a team in Toronto? But they put that rivalry aside last night. You could hear the We the North chant for blocks around downtown Montreal's own Jurassic Park. While the Toronto Raptors are just one win away from taking the championship and closing out their season, another major basketball league is just hitting its peak.
It's Wizards and Raptors. Got 2 more games Wednesday night.
I'm sure this is a basketball league. The Raptors Uprising is a professional esports team in the NBA 2K League. It launched in 2018, just like the NBA players are drafted by 21 teams affiliated with the real franchises. They get paid a salary and even move to the cities they're drafted to. Every video game match is played in a studio in New York City, just like the real thing. They're broadcast with play-by-play commentary. With all the excitement around the Toronto Raptors, there's been more and more buzz about the Raptors Uprising. Our Farah Morelli went to the Scarborough home where all 6 live and play together.
Hi, I'm Kenny Got Work.
Hi, I'm TS Josh.
Hi, I'm Doza. Hi, I'm King Quay 614.
Hi, I'm Sick X973.
Hi, I'm OOC Slim.
We are Raptors Uprising.
I always have my gear on, like my Raptors Uprising gear, and just plenty of times people are just like really interested in what we are. They always ask me, oh, what team you play for? And I just, every single time, it's the same speech, just tell them, oh, we're the Toronto Raptors E-League team. Just tell them that we play 2K professionally, and they're like, wow.
Who left my man?
Oh, that's
Get
it.
that out of there.
I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, look at the shoes.
Did you ever think that you'd be able to do this professionally?
That's something I told myself I wanted to get into, and they had a combine for it, which 72,000 people tried out for it, and luckily 102 people made it, and I was one of those 102, so now I'm here.
How many hours a day are you guys practicing while the season's on?
A lot. It's countless hours, for real. Sometimes we scrimmage over 8 hours a day, and not only the 8 hours, but some of the guys just sit and practice time in their jump shots.
And now Kenny's got his badge.
How much has the sort of excitement of the basketball team, the Toronto Raptors, sort of built more excitement around you guys?
The energy is amazing here. Like honestly, like and we can translate that to like 2K. You know, I think all the time, like man, let's get to these finals. Let's win this last tournament to take it, which is automatic bid for playoffs. Like, you know, like I feel that like the energy here, like you know, and out here in Toronto, they represent their city. You know, they support everybody out here. Sorry, Jerry. I'm the champ. It's obvious I'm the champ around the house. You know.
What's it like living with 5 other dudes?
Well, it's no different. I went to college, I played football, so I had dorms and all that, so it's the same thing.
We bond together, watch games and stuff. It's just, it gets a little tough when sometimes you have to clean up behind some people, but you know, that's a different story. So, but yeah, I'm definitely loving it though.
Some people are cleaner than others, maybe?
Of course.
Do you guys have like kind of a pinch me moment sometimes where you're like, I get to do this. I get to live in this house, I get to play for this team, and I get to get paid to do it.
When, you know, kids come up to me and like, you play for the Raptors Uprising, you know, 2K team. I'm like, yeah, and when they ask me for a picture, it's like surreal, because I used to be on the opposite end, and now like people looking up to us. So it's something I definitely love doing, and I don't take for granted.
How much would you pay for a watermelon? Like a really juicy, juicy watermelon. Well, in Japan, the season's first Raiden watermelons fetched a very sweet price at auction today. A pair went for, get this, $2,700. A small town in Hokkaido is known for growing the pricey fruit. Farmers say weather conditions since April made sweeter and larger watermelons than usual. We got about 30 seconds left. We won't even talk about $2,700 watermelons. But we've been getting a lot of growing weather so far this year. Enough rain already.
Oh, yeah. We've had plenty of that, and I'm afraid there's more to come. But what's nice is it's not tomorrow.
Okay.
So we get a little bit of a break. Overnight tonight, clear skies, lows dropping down to about 10 degrees. Tomorrow, it's going to be a nice day. Lots of sunshine, 23.
That's why we like you. Good news. That's it for us for
We'll
tonight.
stop there.
Thanks for watching. Mike Wise has you covered at 11. Remember, you did say Raptors in 6.
I did. Raptors in 6.